Iran's air force is in crisis. After its recent war with Israel, it reportedly lost nearly a third of its jets. And now, it's turning to China, not for diplomacy, but for warplanes. Reports confirm Iran is negotiating a major purchase of China's J-10C fighter jets, and it could be the start of something far more serious. Because if this deal goes through, it won't just shift Iran's firepower, it may shift the entire balance of power in the Middle East. In the 12-day conflict with Israel recently, Iran's air power was severely degraded. According to Israeli assessments cited by multiple Western outlets, Iran lost as much as 30% of its operational fighter aircraft. And what's left isn't exactly cutting edge. Iran's air force relies on a patchwork fleet: American F-14 Tomcats purchased before 1979, Soviet-era MiG-29s, and Chinese F-7s, all decades old, held together by improvised parts and reverse engineering. The war exposed just how vulnerable that force had become. And with tensions still simmering across the region, Tehran now sees a narrow window to rebuild before the next round of conflict. For years, Iran's natural partner for advanced weapons was Russia. In fact, Tehran signed a deal to buy 50 Su-35 fighter jets, a top-of-the-line platform in the Russian arsenal. But that deal has all but collapsed. Only 4 jets were delivered. The rest have been delayed indefinitely, caught up in Russia's own wartime logistics and shifting priorities. Production bottlenecks, spare parts shortages, and Moscow's need to rearm for Ukraine have all pushed Iranian orders to the back of the line. So now, Iran is doing something it once considered politically risky. It's turning to China instead. Tehran is seeking a major fleet upgrade centered around the J-10C. The Chengdu J-10C is a 4th-generation multi-role fighter designed for speed, precision, and electronic warfare. It comes equipped with an AESA radar, giving it advanced tracking and targeting capabilities. It can fire PL-15 beyond visual range air-to-air missiles, capable of engaging targets more than 90 miles away. For Iran, the J-10C is attractive for 3 clear reasons. First, it can be delivered quickly. With Russia delaying Su-35 shipments indefinitely, China's production capacity gives Iran a way to rebuild fast before another conflict erupts. Second, it's within reach financially. At a lower price point than Western aircraft, and with oil for weapons barter on the table, the J-10C fits Iran's limited post-sanctions economy. And third, it's technologically capable. With AESA radar and long-range missiles, it gives Iran a meaningful step up, enough to challenge older US-built systems still operated by Israel and Saudi Arabia. This isn't the first time Iran has tried to buy the J-10. Back in 2015, discussions reportedly began between Tehran and Beijing for up to 150 aircraft. But those talks fell apart, mostly due to financial restrictions and China's concern over US sanctions. Fast forward to today, and the landscape has changed. China is no longer trying to avoid US scrutiny. In fact, it's actively challenging the US on trade, technology, and military alliances. Iran, meanwhile, is under extreme pressure to modernize its military quickly, but it's isolated from Western arms markets and no longer willing to wait years for delayed Russian jets. That opens the door for a deal built not on dollars, but on oil. China is already one of the largest buyers of Iranian crude, often through back channels or under waivers designed to bypass Western sanctions. That creates the possibility of a barter agreement, fighter jets, in exchange for long-term oil supply contracts. And it's that structure that could make this deal possible, even under a tightly sanctioned environment. The consequences go far beyond aircraft inventory. If Iran acquires a sizable fleet of J-10Cs, it may not match Israel's F-35s one-to-one, but it will still force Israeli planners to rethink their strategy. For years, Israel has operated with near-total air dominance across the region. Deep strikes into Syria, Iraq, and even Iranian territory were carried out with little aerial resistance. But with the introduction of Chinese-built fighters like the J-10C, Iran gains the ability to threaten Israeli aircraft from much farther away. That doesn't negate Israel's technological edge, especially with its stealth platforms. But it does mean more contested skies, tighter flight corridors, and a higher risk envelope for future operations. Even if a direct clash never happens, the presence of advanced interceptors changes how airspace is managed and forces Israel to invest more in jamming, evasion, and early warning systems. Then there's the larger geopolitical signal that Russia is being pushed aside and China is stepping in, not just economically, but militarily. This could mark a pivot in Iran's long-term strategic alignment. Where once Moscow was the go-to defense supplier, Beijing now appears ready to fill the vacuum. And unlike Russia, China brings with it not only weapons, but infrastructure, oil partnerships, and regional influence. So, is this deal already signed? Not quite. But as of this week, multiple credible reports, from Western intelligence sources to Middle Eastern defense analysts, confirm that negotiations are well underway. Estimates range from 36 to over 100 aircraft under consideration. And if the deal moves forward in the next few months, initial deliveries could begin by early 2026. Iran has already signaled to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization that it's ready to accelerate military cooperation with China. And if early indicators are accurate, this arms purchase could be just the beginning. Training exchanges, tech transfers, and joint military exercises may follow. So here's the real story. Iran isn't just shopping for jets, it's shopping for new alliances. And by turning away from Russia and leaning into a deeper defense relationship with China, Iran is signaling exactly where it sees its future alliances. This deal, if finalized, won't just strengthen Iran's air force. It will reshape power dynamics in the Middle East and signal China's growing willingness to project military influence far beyond Asia. What do you think? Is this China's quiet entry into the Middle East arms race, and does it make the region more dangerous for America and its allies? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to keep up with stories the mainstream won't unpack, subscribe to The Briefing. Thanks for watching.